Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Beer Geek Nation. I'm your host, Chris. Thank you so much for joining me once again for another beer review. And today, guys, I felt like doing a Belgian beer, so that's what we're doing. It's a big one, too, a very popular one. This, my friends, is Duchesse De Bourgogne, 6% alcohol by volume. It's a Flanders red or an Old Bruin style ale, basically a sour, a very entry-level sour. It's 6% alcohol by volume. Basically, they brew up this beer, let it age up to 8 months, minimum of 8 months in these oak vats. Then they blend the two, varying ages together, and this is the product they get. Again, it's a very entry-level sour. There's still some sweetness to it, so it's not super puckering. Very widely available. I know I see it everywhere. So with that said, let me get into a glass, let you guys know how it smells, tastes, and give you the final verdict on Duchesse De Bourgogne. All right, guys, so the appearance on the Duchesse de Bourgogne, it is absolutely a murky, brown, verging on like a blood red where the light is hitting through it. There's a little bit of clarity to it. I can see a little bit of light through it. There was a nice, maybe half a finger to a quarter of this kind of dank, khaki, brownish head. Dissipated really quickly. I would expect that with this type of beer, with a sour beer in general. Lots of lacing on this one. Definitely a little bit of alcohol legs on this one. It's 6%. That is a little bit surprising, but yeah, just a pretty much classic example of the style. All right, the aroma, the Duchesse de Bourgogne. Yeah, to me, I immediately get apple cider vinegar in this one. There's a big red wine type of flavor to it, a nice tannic type of aroma coming off of it. You get cranberries, cherry juice, a sweet kind of sugary maltness in there. Yeah, just a really, again, classic example of a Flanders. Just a nice smelling beer. All right, guys, the taste on the Duchesse de Bourgogne. Cheers. Right at the front of the tongue, there's a really nice, like, sweet, puckering sweetness. It reminds me a lot of like a warhead, like a lemon warhead, They're super sour, but at the same time, there's kind of an inherent sweetness to it. In front of the tongue, middle of the mouth, in that area, you start to get more of that cranberry juice, kind of a tart cherry juice. Middle of the mouth, you start to get more of that tannic kind of quality from the wood that it's aged in. A slight kind of vanilla kind of sweetness in there, blending with a big kind of tartness from a cranberry cherry juice in the middle of the mouth. There's a nice sweetness though. There's a very underlying sweetness that kind of keeps everything in check and never gets tiring on the palate. The sourness never kind of wears the palate out because it's always in check by this sweetness. A lot of mouthfeel in this one. Lots of carbonation, a really kind of silky feel to this beer. The carbonation moves the flavors right along. It's carbonated like champagne. It really kind of helps to, again, relieve the fatigue of the palate that you would get from a sour ale or a overly sweet kind of lambic or something like that. Super dry finish on this one. Aftertaste is more of like a red wine type of flavor. Nice grapey kind of juice, cranberry juice again. Again, a subtle kind of sweetness that kind of keeps all that in check. Really easy to drink, but at the same time, extremely complex. At the same time, it's a great starter sour for people getting into craft beers and Belgian beers in general, just because it is so approachable and really flavorful and easy to drink. All right, guys, so the final verdict on the Duchesse de Bourgogne, 6% alcohol by volume, available year-round, available nationwide, guys. I've got to give this one an A. Like I said before, it's just a cornerstone in the Belgian beer market. Really one of those beers, a lot of people see it in the store and they don't quite know what to think about it. It's hard to pronounce. It doesn't really say what it is. But once they have it, they're hooked. They're hooked on sours. They're hooked on Flanders. They're just hooked on that Belgian bug that people love so much. And rightfully so. This beer has enough sour to keep it interesting, enough sweetness to kind of keep it interesting for people who don't really like sours. And it's super drinkable. There's a wine quality to it. So people maybe into wine can try this and really appreciate it. Just a great overall, well-rounded, amazingly well-crafted beer. And like I said, just a cornerstone in the Belgian beer market, and just fantastic stuff. And I highly recommend it. If you've never had it, definitely pick yourself up a bottle. You're doing yourself an injustice by not. So with that said, getting an A for me. And remember, folks, life's too short. Drink amazing beers. Cheers.